We noticed that some users struggle in finding the data link connector locations for Japanese commercial trucks. This is 2005 Isuzu Elf model, and this is 2007 Forward model. I'm going to show you actual data link connector locations for these models. However, please note that this connector location might not be the same for other Isuzu models. DLC could be in different location. You can look up Isuzu service manual for a connector location or other source. If you still cannot find the location, you can ask us at Tech Q&A page of our G-Scan website. We have found the data link connector location. Now we need a special adapter for some models in order to communicate with Isuzu commercial trucks. This adapter is especially designed for Isuzu commercial truck. It's got 20 pin and 10 pin and 3 pin. Connectors are attached in this adapter. This adapter does not come with standard kit. So please, if you need one, contact your local distributor for more information. We found the location of data link connector, and we have the special adapter for Isuzu in hand. This 2007 Forward model just uses 16-pin OBD2 connector. However, remember that some other Isuzu models need the special adapter. Now let's connect G-Scan. Select Diagnosis in the main page. You can see a bunch of different car brands. If you look at left, you can see 5 categories. All regions, you can see all brands in one page. Europe for European brands, and Asia for Asian brands, and United States for US brands. If you hit alphabet at the bottom left corner, brands will be organized in alphabetical order. If you select the cell order, brands will be organized in order which shows recently used brands. Since we are focusing on Isuzu commercial trucks, let's select Asia. When you select Isuzu, you can see 2 categories, International and Japan Domestic. If you select Japan Domestic, you can see different model names. When you select a specific model, you can see the list of vehicle model codes. Letters before dash is a code related to emission regulation, and letters and numbers after the dash is vehicle's specific model code. Select the model code and engine type. And you can see the vehicle model here. Next, you can choose system you want to communicate. During the selection, you might see a note at the bottom right corner. For example, in Ford or Giga model, it says the 2010-3P old type adapter is required for this vehicle. Please use the 2010 3-pin old type adapter. You can use our special 2010 3-pin adapter. Let's go back to the first page of vehicle selection. Well, there's no big difference between Japan domestic and international in terms of vehicle coverage or diagnostic functions. Previously, our G-Scan had only Japan domestic selection. In Japan domestic menu, you saw the list of different model names was displayed. However, we found out that since the model name is different for exported trucks, most customers outside of Japan are not familiar with model names such as ELF or Giga. Some of them could not even select the vehicle types in the first place. So we developed international menu. When you enter, you can see 4 selections that we separated vehicle types into commonly known names for easier selection. You can see pickup truck, SUV, N series, light duty, FG series, medium heavy duty, and LV, LT series, which is bus. If you do not know where your truck falls in, let's say you are confusing your vehicle's size between light duty or medium duty trucks, I would like to inform you that the size of Japanese trucks is separated by gross vehicle weight. For example, in Japan, light-duty truck is in between 2 to 3 tons. Medium-duty truck is in between 5 to 8 tons. And heavy-duty trucks weighs more than 8 tons. Choose the vehicle type and select systems you want to diagnose. If you select engine, you can see the list of different engines. You can select engine type and hit OK to communicate with the vehicle. Let's try to communicate with this 2007 Isuzu Ford model. Select diagnosis. Select Isuzu, go to international, and select model type. Ford model is a medium duty trucks. And select engine, and select the engine type. This one is 6HK1 turbocharged. And 2007 Isuzu Ford model is Euro 3 model. So select Euro 2 to 3 and hit OK. Now we're ready to diagnose. Now let's talk about some basic diagnosis technique using G-Scan. When you notice that your vehicle seems abnormal and suddenly malfunction indicator lamp comes on, what would you do? Of course, you would try to find out why the mirror came on. First, you need to figure out which system is malfunctioning by reading the diagnostic trouble code. In order to read the DTC, you need to search for data link connector location and connect G-Scan. When you're set, you can go to DTC analysis and then read the DTC. Let's see if this 2007 Isuzu Ford model has any DTC. Select DTC analysis. Well, this truck has 3 DTCs. First 2 codes are related to the pedal position sensor. And third one is related to the turbocharger. Now the DTC has been noticed. Would you believe that the DTC related part is defective and repair or replace the parts right away? I guess not. You can do some preliminary checks before you get into actions. First, you need to distinguish the DTCs between sensor related and actuator related. If the DTC is sensor related, go to Data Analysis menu and search for malfunctioning parts. Without physical inspection of removing or getting into the parts, you can check the condition of the sensors or compare the value and make a judgment. Since the first two DTCs are sensor related, let's go to the data analysis and check its condition. You can see a bunch of different live data. If you select Details, data will be organized in a detailed view. Select Accelerator Pedal Sensor 1 and 2 and hit Select Item. Select Graph if you want to see the data in graph mode. Now I'm going to press the accelerator pedal to check its operation. By looking at the graph, accelerator pedal sensor seems normal. If the DTC is actuator related, go to Actuation Test function. Depending on engine types, number of supported actuation tests is different. Check if it's supported and you can try to test the defective parts for its operation. G-Scan will command ECU to actuate selected parts. During the test, you can actually hear the sound or visually check the movement of the parts. Let me show you an example. The third DTC is related to the turbocharger. Since this DTC is actuator related, let's go to the actuation test function. You can see many other actuation tests. Fuel rate pressure, injectors, glow plug, intake throttle, or EGR, and let's select turbocharger to see its operation. Before you check its operation, there is precondition: ignition on, P or N range, and idle status. Let's check its operation. Turbocharger seems normal. It seems the problem was intermittent, or maybe there was some loose connection in actuator. By using actuation test function, you do not have to remove the parts or manually test the defective parts to check its operation. Now when you're done with preliminary checks and still the problem exists, you might do some extra visual inspection. After all checks and defective part is confirmed, you would make a decision, replacing or fixing. From mid-2000s, almost all vehicles are equipped with a bunch of electronics, such as computer modules, solenoids, and sensors. For the purpose of achieving advanced comfort or outstanding performance, engine computer units started to save or learn data from the operator's driving habits. Inevitably, the importance of computer control has been increasing. Whenever you perform repairs on most recent systems, even simple replacement of sensors, you must use a scan tool to reset or erase learned data in ECU. Other than erasing and learning function, there's calibration, initialization, reset, and coding functions. One out of many different examples will be injectors. When you replace injectors, you have to code or write specific injector's ID code into ECU for correct fuel quantity adjustment. Let me summarize some key points. Do not just assume the component related to DTC is defective, because there might be other problems which cause the ECU to trigger the DTC. When DTC is sensor related, go to the data analysis and check suspect parts data. When DTC is actuator related, perform actuation test and check suspect part for its operation. When you diagnose commercial trucks using useful functions of G-Scan, I'm sure you will save a lot of time. Let's see some special functions of Isuzu commercial trucks. DPD forced regeneration. This function is used to regenerate or burn particulate matter clogged in the DPD system by raising the exhaust temperature. Before running this function, execute and complete the DPD recycle data reset function. It takes about 20 minutes for the completion of DPD forced regeneration. Please read carefully the precautions and select OK, and then press the car's DPD switch on the cabin. Then the DPD regeneration will begin. If you want to stop the regeneration, you can press the stop. And after about 20 minutes, DPD forced regeneration will be completed. DPD slowly forced regeneration. Well, this function is used to regenerate or burn particulate matter clogged in the DPD system by raising the exhaust temperature. This function is the same as the DPD forced regeneration. However, it takes about 120 minutes instead of 20 minutes for the completion of the DPD forced regeneration. The rest procedure is the same as the DPD's forced regeneration. Read the warnings carefully. And press the DPD switch. When you want to stop, you can press the stop. And after about 120 minutes, DPD slowly forced regeneration will be completed. DPD regeneration data reset. Please execute this DPD regeneration data reset function when exchanging DPD or regenerating DPD system. Precondition: you have to set ignition on and engine stop. If you want to reset DPD regeneration data, press OK. And reset is completed. You can return to Mode System, Selection menu, and turn ignition switch off. Make sure to turn on again after more than 5 seconds. Injector ID code check. This function is used when you want to check injector ID code. You can see individual injectors' ID codes. When you're done, press OK. Injector ID code registration. This function is used when you want to write or register the injector's ID code into the ECU when the injector or ECU is changed. Please proceed only when ignition is on and while the engine is off. When you're ready, press OK. Here, now you can see individual injector's ID code for each cylinders. You can select individually, and when you're ready, press OK. And now you can register the injector's ID codes. It can be 24 or 30 digits of alphanumeric letters. Now when you're done, press OK to register the injector's ID code. MAF correction data check. Well, this function is used to check just the MAF compensation value. When you're done, press OK. MAF correction data service mode. This function is used to set MAF adjusted data from G-scan when MAF sensor is changed. Proceed only when ignition is on and while the engine is off. When you're ready, press OK. And you can see MAF compensation value. And if you look at the bottom here, it's a standard value. If your model is NKR, NPR, or NPS, you have to set it to 0.92. And if your vehicle's engine is 4HK1 turbocharged, you have to set it to 1.24. Other than these models, you have to set it as 1. Let's set it to 1. Then it's completed to write. MAF correction data read or write. ECU change. Now this function is used to read and write MAF adjusted data automatically during the replacement of ECU. Now you can press read button to read and save MAF adjusted data into G-scan. And you can press write to register MAF adjusted data to ECU. Let's press read button. And you can press OK to read and save MAF adjusted data that recollects from ECU. If you proceed to read MAF adjusted data that is previously recalled from G-scan will be deleted. Please be careful. When you're ready, press OK. Now reading has been completed. Go back to Model's System Selection page and turn off the ignition switch. Now let's press Write button to register MAF adjusted data to ECU. And press OK to register MAF adjusted data from G-scan to ECU. You have to proceed only when ignition is on and while the engine is off. Let's press OK. And collected data under the following conditions is registered to ECU. You can check the information here. And to register, press OK. Now it's completed. Erasing the supply pump learned value. Well, this function is used to erase the learned supply pump value and proceed only when ignition is on and the engine is stopped. Supply pump learned value will be cleared. After learned value is cleared, warm up the engine and proceed the supply pump learning. If you want to clear the supply pump learned value, press OK. Supply pump learned value has been successfully completed.
Please confirm that indication of pump learning completion status is no in data analysis. Please warm up the engine until indication changes to yes. Q correction data check. Well, this function is used when you want to check current value of Q correction data, also known as fuel delivery rate data, in the engine ECU. Well, every engine has different specification, different power output, and also different fuel injection volume. To compensate for balanced fuel injection, Q correction data is given to each truck's engine from manufacturer. You can check the fuel delivery rate data and then compare the current values. When you're done, press OK. Q correction data read or write ECU change. Before you replace the engine ECU, you have to perform read function to copy the current Q correction data from the ECU into the SD card of your G-scan. Then after replacing the ECU, you need to perform write function in order to copy the stored original Q correction data into the newly replaced ECU. Let's read to copy the current Q correction data from the ECU. Press OK when you're ready. And now reading has been completed. Let's go back and write the data. And let's press write to copy the stored original Q correction data into the newly replaced ECU. And press OK to register Q adjusted data from G-scan to ECU. Make sure this following information is correct, and to register, press OK. Now, writing has been completed.
Engine start number, write when replacing ECU. When you replace the engine ECU, you need to perform this function to write number of times that engine has been started. Please proceed only when ignition is on and while the engine is off. Press OK when you're ready. Current number of times that engine started is 0 count. Press OK if you would like to reset the value. Input the number of times that engine started. And press OK when inputting is completed. Now it's completed. Engine start number, write when replacing starter. When you replace the starter, you need to perform this function to write the number of times that engine has been started. Proceed only when ignition is on and while the engine is off. When you're ready, press OK. Current number of times that engine started after replacing the starter is 0 count. Press OK if you would like to reset the value. Input the number of times when engine started after replacing the starter. Press OK when inputting is completed. Now it's completed to write.